It's just that, look, that time it went much better. SK was in a commanding lead. They got off to a big kill lead at least, but were never able to separate themselves in golden experience. The Gold Fury that they were trying to do that with, stolen by Vote's Rom Snipes.
Right.
It's difficult to win a game like that where, yes, you're winning in kills early on, but your mid game and your late game where you're supposed to excel with Double Hunter isn't going to do quite as well because the enemy team also has Double Hunter, but they have a Hopwa instead of your early game jungler, and that's a difficult game to win.
Rough stuff there for SK in game number 1, but they were close. Maybe in game number 2, they'll be able to shorten that gap there. SK versus RivaL. RivaL will be on the secondary side, so the first pick and ban go to SK. And I expect much of the same. I want to see the Athena bans and everything, but I do want to see Chernobog on the side of SK this time around.
I don't know. I mean, Wlfy did not a whole lot on that pick. I mean, had a pretty tough game on that Chernobog. If you're going to dangle it in front of RivaL, I think it's okay. I think that there is a risk, though, that RivaL goes, okay, you know, we won that game, but let's still put Chernobog ADC, put Wlfy on a mage, where I think that he always looks better than Hunters, and then we can get going and find the victory. That way, that would scare me if I'm SK, but if I can bait them into taking a very similar Double Hunter comp and Wlfy going on this Chernobog, I think I'm pretty happy with that.
See, I'm on the other side looking internally as SK select Baron Samedi in the same selection. I'm looking at Lawbster, not a great on her performance this time or last time. If they want to do the Double Hunter, which, by the way, Chernobog still provides a slow if that's the whole gimmick, right? Chernobog in the mid lane, I would much rather that be the Hunter in Lawbster's hands because he's much more traditional mage than the Anhur is.
Sure. I don't know. I think that the Baron pick for HalfDevil, it didn't do horribly.
No, not at all.
The early rotation into solo lane, that was a big fight for SK. I think that paid off for them pretty nicely. I love Lawbster on the Agni. There's one of, if not his best god, one of them. I think this is already looking much better. But if this just is another Anhur pick, that I think this fits. Now this is Anhur in the duo lane. For Funball, this allows them to be aggressive still, a la the Cupid, but have much better teamfight control a lot of the time with that shifting sands where you're not just getting value, you know, your ultimate value stripped away if the enemy team uses something like a sprint.
Fafnir, the final selection here for Team RivaL, kind of eyeing their secondary Hunter.
Well, it's not just about getting Double Hunter. It's that the matchup against Baron is really, really good for Fafnir a lot of the time because if he starts to use that Life of the Party ultimate, you just put the brakes on with that Draconic Corruption and transform. That buys your team plenty of time to either kill the Baron or step in front of the Baron ult for you. Now, if the Baron can put you right up against you as you're finishing that transformation, then it does stun you for a pretty decent duration, but then you'll still have your Dragon Leap to get away.
Right now, second round of bans coming out here. No Nox, no Zhang Kui, no Ao Kuang, no Odin. Same thing as game numero uno.
Interesting. I'm surprised that they ban Odin instead of banning Hebo or Ao Kuang instead of Hebo in that spot. If they're worried about the Double Hunter, Ice proved that he can do that, so may as well force him into something else, but RivaL's going to go with a different direction and pick up the Raijin. So it ends up paying off.
I also think, contrary to how their elements work out, Agni just crushes Hebo. Agni does really well against Hebo, keeping him at a distance, not able to get into that water hands area. So I think that the Agni alone is not a direct counter to Hebo, but a dissuasion away from the Chinese jungler.
Could be the case. Is Bakasura going to finish off this draft? I like this pick. A lot of cripples that are going to be affected by SK. Specifically that 70 transformation from Erlang Shen, plus his way of peel a lot of time when he really needs to buy an extra moment or two, he'll taunt you, use that ultimate. Baka wants that. He wants you to taunt him because then he's guaranteeing those auto attacks against you.
He does well against the whole crew. Will Bakasura win game number 2? It's the question I ask you. And
you should answer it too.
Well, sorry, what do you do?
See, I did. You said 2, and then you, and then I said 2 to like put a.
Is this like a counting thing?
It's like a sandwich thing.
Oh, you like counting?
It's a U sandwich.
But there's nobody over here.
No, I meant with my words.
I don't understand.
You don't have to.
I think it's more like a salad at this point.
Okay.
Commentator standing by, Graham, Hindu Man, take us away.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Go and enjoy all the food you're talking about all the time. What a shock to see F. and Aggro talking about food.
Talking about sandwiches and salads, but no hot dogs. That's a little surprising.
I'm a big guy, and I don't talk about food as often as those guys. Like, I'm like, how can you talk about it so much? Well, into the game we go. Funballer will be playing the Anhur this game. We're going to have Agni in the mid lane and jungle Erlang Shen, which we've seen a few times before.
We've seen it in North America primarily out of Sino, out of Splice, but not really too often in the European side.
Twig.
Twig a little bit, but Twig is playing everything under the sun.
That's fair. That's fair. Well,
Sino is a consistent Erlang player.
starting wave, it looks like SK are going to get pressure, and actually HalfDevil's going to look and be cheeky and keep them busy over here if he can. He's just going to be careful about trying to steal this at the right time. Did he get it?
Nope.
Not the case. So he loses even more experience.
But it gives Funballer all the experience instead. So where you lose in one end, you gain in the other.
I'm not a big fan, though, Anatoly, because of the simple reason you want those levels on Baron to get those abilities to spam.
Now, overall, the experience is more when you're sharing it combined. But there could be a case where you can make with that. If you're trying to get level 5 first, Funballer with a Desert Fury and level 4 Barons can still make some highlight plays.
But also, it took longer for SK to clear the wave, which means RivaL are able to freeze the wave under their tier 1 tower.
Yeah.
And now they're in a much safer position to farm up to level 2. So this hasn't really worked out as well as SK may have hoped in the early game.
I think that they lost 3 melee minions as a result of the freezing from RivaL. Jumping from Callus, going to get negated. HalfDevil very low.
And it's going to force his sprint out. And no shell used by Callus, so a result in the dual lane for RivaL based off how the beginning started. Fails though. Dueling out with the Bakasura. iceicebaby bringing that into play. God, I hate Bakasura.
There's a lot of damage on the side of RivaL in the mid lane between both Bakasura and the Raijin. Speaking of the dueling, HalfDevil still that level 1 doesn't have his combo that he really needs.
And this is why you see the abuse from RivaL looking to pressure and keep the poke going. Just love the disarms out of Callus too. Not scared to just leap in and throw it out there, get a bit of poke and make sure they can't fire back for a moment or two. And now pressure in the dual lane is all RivaL. As guess who turns up to say hello?
No blink for iceicebaby. Needs to get the blink. Fails right around the corner. Could be a little fight over the Oracles.
Yeah, I think actually that's why they may have relinquished it, because Faeles did notice what was going on there. So good call from RivaL not to get aggressive instead. Not talked about the solo lane yet, but generally solo lane doesn't get many kills or any real action outside of junglers going over there. Amaterasu into the Sobek. I don't mind that totally. If you're going to be against Sobek in lane, why not pick something that's going to scale well and not have good lane pressure anyway?
Late game team fights is going to favor Ducky, I think. If they can get to the late game, Deathwalker can certainly pluck Ducky out of position if he's not careful. And I like what Faeles did earlier by giving up the Oracles to iceicebaby. He has about this 15 to 20 second window over iceicebaby of the speed buff. So if he really wants to make a play, now's the time to look for the invade.
Yeah, RivaL kind of mistimed that purple invade on the left-hand side, so relinquish pressure there as Deathwalker will lose his blue buff thanks to the Erlang Shen being over there. But as SK walk up to the lane, Funballer eats a hammer to the face. Has to jump away. Glad he didn't beads there. He recognized how much damage he would take and be able to sustain.
And that blue buff invade was allowed because of how long it takes iceicebaby on the level 3 Bakasura at the time to finish the Oracles by himself. No one was assisting him in the matter, and that allowed a calculated play out of Faeles.
Lawbster's trying to do his red buff on his own and won't be able to get it as Wlfy over the wall. I mean, you throw Raijin out like that, you know, you're just trying to aim with it, and now Lawbster could really die here.
Feels bad, man. No Aegis available. He only had the purification beads. Now Faeles. He's going to get tier 2 tower dome, and that's the buff to the regurgitate, being able to eat your own minion.
Nearly, though. The minions nearly surrounded Faeles perfectly in this perfect situation to actually bring him down too. But that was just Lawbster trying to get his red buff and getting it stolen away. Big lead for RivaL in the mid lane, and first blood going to a Bakasura.
Very important first blood, especially with the Hasten Katana receiving a buff. A little bit cheaper than it usually was, of 100 gold buff, and that mattered as iceicebaby now finishing off Ninja Tabi for the extra attack speed. Is going to put in more pain with the Butcher Blades.
Level 6 for Ducky now, and that's all down to that blue buff invade on the right-hand side. So it's put him in good stead for the time being, but the real difference is the level 4 versus level 5 in the jungle at this moment in time. The Regurgitate already used, though, but it's a good sign because I'm looking around the map and a lot of beads are going to get consumed when Baka regurgitates onto people.
Just as you were talking about, that level 6 now on iceicebaby, so now even a 2 level lead. Still struggling to get to level 5 as Faeles. Probably will receive it after his own speed buff, but by the time he is level 5, iceicebaby is 1 minion camp away from level 7.
Love this deep ward that you see now and again where Faeles is right now. Wlfy's just placed that one down, as you can see. But keeping it near the speed buff, it's a natural position for SK to run through that area of the jungle making sure the speed is done. You can just keep an eye on where he is to look for gank pressure elsewhere.
Especially if you're afraid of him transferring over from the solo side jungle into the dueling. This allows Vote and Callus to maybe look for some of their own calculated plays as long as they can identify where Faeles is on the minimap.
Not only that, but Vote can also teleport all the way over there if he wanted to, using the Living Nightmare. He could look for a cheeky gank if somebody's going to be taking it at low health. But here's another red buff invade now from RivaL. Grouped up nicely with 3 members, and it's a 3-on-3, but Anhur could be on the way. Focus on the red buff, and obviously with iceicebaby, that's easy pickings. Faeles is also easy pickings as he gets regurgitated on and crippled to high heaven, and HalfDevil's next on the list.
Good stun. HalfDevil's only level 4, doesn't have life of the party, and now Funballer just kind of chilling in the cove, looking for the follow-up.
Good turnaround there. Wlfy hung around a little bit too long. The rest of RivaL wanted out. But Wlfy was trying to poke down Funballer a little bit more and bit off more than he can chew. So there's the first kill of the game for SK as Ducky looking for aggression in the jungle.
Well, you picked up the red buff and you die with a red buff. No red buff for Wlfy, at least on the opposite end, but can pick up his own as iceicebaby will secure it right before Lawbster had anything to say about it.
Tell you what, we didn't really see that fight on the right-hand side, but Ducky managing to steal away that buff from Sobek's not an easy task.
I love what Deathwalker is doing to Ducky, playing a lot of mind games, just standing still. Ducky's like backpedaling sideways, left, right, up, down, trying to do like some weird N64 cheat code. And Ducky's even dashing back into the lane, not wanting to get plucked onto that tier 1 tower.
I will be honest, I actually think standing still is one of the most underrated things used in Smite.
Absolutely.
Because nobody stands still in Smite. Even when you're just hanging around, you always want to move your character because you're just scared of getting hit by something, but the best juke is a non-juke sometimes.
Something that Ally taught me when I was playing competitive was the best way to play Ymir is not do anything. You just literally walk up to them and then you stop moving.
Yeah.
And then they panic. They just think that you're about to freeze, especially if they're like caught under the wall. They're going to try to do something.
That's the play. You run at them as a Ymir, drop the wall behind them, and just keep running. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm in trouble.
You do a little stutter step in between, thinking that they're going to freeze, get a beads out of it.
I should play some Ymir. I've not played Ymir in a little
minute. It's so good. I'm telling you. 8-second cooldown on Glacial Strike, one of the highest basic damage abilities in the game.
I was going to say, we shouldn't keep talking about Ymir, but to be fair, we're the only 2 Ymir plays here, I think, too.
Probably.
Yeah. Well then, red buff is spawning again, and this time SK have 4 members around it straight away. RivaL aren't interested in the red buff this time, though. They're going to pressure Ducky in the solo lane instead. iceicebaby's over there to make sure Deathwalker finally gets a blue buff. 3 men are here, and Ducky walks into the jungle at the right time, to be fair, as RivaL weren't in a position to contest.
As long as Deathwalker can finish off the Breastplate of Valor, he doesn't need any more assistance afterwards. He'll have enough cooldown reduction in MP5 to spam the Sickening Strike, spam the Lurking in the Water to regain that MP5, and have enough protections against Ducky and Faeles.
These trades going on in the jungle around those left-hand harpies at the moment. They're only 8 minutes in. There's still about a K.5 lead for RivaL at the moment. It's Funballer takes a trade against Vote, and this is an even trade, if all fairness. Maybe there's some pressure for Funballer now as he comes back down, looks for the damage. Not enough. He dashes in, does Vote, but no turnaround there available. SK being fighting in the mid lane instead.
Vote wanting to get revenge after getting soloed in game number 1 when he was playing the ROM up against Funballer's Cupid. I like the fact that Funballer was hiding behind his own archers, using the Desert Fury, forcing the ultimate from Vote, and it actually kind of helped Funballer where Vote used the Living Nightmare because it allows more of those Desert Fury shots to connect.
So now Funballer still level 8 though, and with that one kill to himself, iceicebaby rotates over to this purple, and one of the benefits of a Bakasura, never leave your jungle up, because if you do, that's what's going to happen.
It's so easy to just eat the minion. I think it's about like 33% health remaining. There's not that much burst damage to kind of steal that one away. And with these multiple invades between the blue buff on the right side, now the purple buff on the left, it's making it more easy now to transition into this mid game as iceicebaby getting closer and closer to that hasten katana, actually just finishing it off.
And he will become a bit of an experienced lead as time goes on. Ducky though steals away the blue again. Early ultimate, a little bit worried about Deathwalker plucking, who tried to time the pluck perfectly to catch him on the wayward situation, but won't be the case. Instead, Callus eats 2 bombs and a path of flames there through him. So dots down that Callus, and Callus still wants to hang around to contest these. Don't think he got him, though. I believe that did go the way of SK.
HalfDevil was able to secure that one around, but Callus was still frisky enough to even try to go for that steal. When Agni uses his dash and 2 bombs, you know you're relatively safe to look for that kind of play.
Deathwalker still going deep here, but now HalfDevil and Lawbster could come round too. iceicebaby, Wlfy going to try and help out the Sobek, who's in a lot of trouble as Faeles ults onto the Sobek. Bombs down from Lawbster to keep away iceicebaby and Wlfy, but Lawbster's nearly dead. And no, that did hit from Wlfy, but not enough for the kill. Instead, Deathwalker falls, and now Wlfy's in trouble.
Full retreat,
Or is
but
he?
where is Wlfy going with the living nightmare in the backline onto Ducky, but it's already too late. Finding another kill right on top of iceicebaby, a 2 for 2 at the end of the day. Jungle for solo.
And that comes into play because Vote can make that rotation on the Chernobog too to make it work out well. Gold Fury is available, but so is Red Buff, and a couple of members of SK still able to defend, so it will just be a red buff here as you see the team fight recap. Overall experience gain. Well, actually, that's a fight favoring SK Gaming there, Tolly.
Deathwalker is being extra frisky today for almost no reason. When he was trying to go for the pluck onto Amaterasu during the ultimate, iceicebaby was already backing off. I'm not sure if that was a disconnect of communication or if Deathwalker's just trying to show off a little bit.
I don't know what's going on in the world of RivaL right now, but I will say things do seem a little bit awkward in Camp RivaL. Not like it usually has been. I don't know what's going on with this team, but they're not as clean as they once were. Their communication seems a little bit suspect here and there, and it's starting to show cracks in the armor.
They want really good seedings to be able to get that top 2 spot out of Europe to auto-qualify to Worlds. They have to step it up. They did beat Energy in Week 1, but then losing to Obey Alliance and Dignitas and struggling slightly against SK Gaming.
Still found them winning the first game in much worse situation, but HalfDevil is taking way more damage than bargained for. He's going to have to use the life of the party, pulls in Vote. Faeles has turned up, but just a little bit too late. And the Regurgitate Cripple Field will prevent him from trying to continue that aggression. Funballer will survive, but now it's 6-3 for RivaL as they turn their attention to the Gold Fury.
2-level lead now for iceicebaby. Almost 12 minutes in. RivaL want to force this objective. Faeles forced to defensively blink behind the Gold Fury. RivaL identify it's no longer worth with Ducky around the corner.
Oh, but the deep transformation for Callis is costing him a lot of health. He will leap away, but Faeles is round there. Faeles not going to pay attention to him, no. And it's all on Boat, who jumps in the wall. Good hammer that did connect there to slow down Lawbster, and actually Wlfy gets the kill because of it. But Callis is still alive and juking around. Finally, Ducky brings him down, but Faeles falls.
You can't get away from iceicebaby. 3 for 2. Still going to delay RivaL for the moment on this objective. Funballer counting his lucky stars on that one, and it's all on HalfDevil to steal this one.
Go on, Half. What can you do, son? He's got no ultimate. He's got half health. He's got half health. He's got no health. And the Gold Fury falls down straight after the fact there. I guess it's worth trying it as HalfDevil. Is it?
Not really.
Maybe the farm is better at this stage. Yeah.
It's so difficult. If you're just a lonely level 9 Baron without life of the party, I just don't see the potential steal, especially knowing how much burst damage RivaL have. Wlfy and iceicebaby committing outside the Gold Fury while it was still being attempted on, sitting at about half health was the objective, and it took less than 5 seconds to take out that support player. So
it's about 4k lead then for RivaL at 13 minutes in. The Bakasura definitely the biggest talking point in this one. iceicebaby is having another good game. He played well in the Hobwar game, in Game 1 and now Game 2, showing his god pool is nice and varied these days.
And Bakasura is one of these like old school Season 1, Season 2, more like pub stompy than you would think, but in the Season 5 teamfight metas, can still make an impact. The crippling minefield that he applies with Regurgitate shuts down Lawbster. Funballer can't get away. Faeles and Ducky can't initiate.
Faeles can't get away from anything there. He's got Blink and no shell, no sprint. Like, they're the things that Bakasura can struggle against now and again. But Beads can help you out of a tricky situation too. Obviously, as a jungler, you can't really go Beads.
No, not can't. It depends on what you want to do. And I think if Faeles is looking for some highlight plays, then you got to go for the Blink, surprise, turtle, knock-up. Now with a 1-pick advantage, Faeles dead for 10 seconds. RivaL goes for the Tier 1 mid tower, and SK Gaming will just give it up.
Yeah, RivaL starts to turn up the heat a little bit more. Now the Pyromancer's available, and iceicebaby already jumping in to start that one off too. This is where SK is starting to struggle now because RivaL are just death-balling a little bit more.
And there needs to be some anti-attack speed against this Bakasura. Nice pluck onto Ducky. He still has dazzling offensive to escape, but no more follow-up.
No, Wlfy was there just a little bit too late. Didn't want to Thunder Crash in. Worried about where the members of SK were. 2 of them were in the mid lane. Lawbster now level 12, so he will have his second relic available finally. Meanwhile, Wlfy, level 14 and still hasn't based.
Definitely not. Probably sitting on a lot of gold in hand, especially with his tier 1 tower finally crumbling. Speaking of which, almost at 2,500. Trying to...
Well, that's a book of the dead for sure.
It has to be. It's what he did last game.
Funballer. Oh, that was lovely from Vote. Love that he jumped in the pillar there. I don't know if he even intended it or not. Just dash away from the Impale that was coming through. But iceicebaby gets credit for the kill with that gank attempt there. Turn around, though. SK Gaming sending 2 members to the left-hand side. Looking at Vote. Get the beats and the Aegis. HalfDevil around the other side. Could be looking for the life of the party. The root will connect. But jumps in the wall to avoid the damage. That's on cooldown. And in comes the life of the party. But options are limited.
Trying to make Lawbster the life of the party in that one. And sometimes you don't always want to suck your opposition closer to you because then they're just going to blow you up. Level 10 Baron without too many defense to really speak of. Only the tier 2 version of that steel mail.
Not the set we were expecting out of SK or hoping for, really, especially after game 1. But game 2 is becoming a bit more of a slippery slope here in RivaL's favor. At the moment, it's just fight from RivaL's point of view and keep finding the picks and following it up with an objective.
Tier 2 tower could be the next objective in the mid lane, but Wlfy due to respawn in 2 minutes. Plenty of damage now from Wlfy, finishing off Book of the Dead. Some safety features with that item, getting a little bit of a buff, makes it more enticing now.
Always an awkward moment in the game when you're in this position where you're ahead and all the towers are down. No one's really going in the jungle, so you're trying to find action, and every time you do, Faeles could fall, actually. And that's going to cause more problems because now they could start to look at this fire giant.
The glass cannon build jungler is going to go down very quickly. HalfDevil trying to escape, but no real sprint to speak about.
He got a lot of damage onto him there, but the Desert Fury won't be enough. HalfDevil pulling him back in, though, and they will get Deathwalker, but iceicebaby is chomping down on some SK members. Wlfy hung around. Ducky will clean that up. Lawbster switching around the left-hand side, but all the while, Tolly, there's 2 members missing. Where could they be?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the Fire Giant? Not even 17 minutes in. Callus tanking it up while Vote trying to go for it. SK Gaming, they ping it out, and they will stop this.
They will. They're going to force them out. So in the end of the day, RivaL kind of split the difference there. They thought they were that confident that they could 3-man the tier 2 in mid lane and pressure there, get kills, while 2 members went off and did the Fire Giant. In the end, they just allow SK to obviously just stem the flow of bleeding a little bit.
If they had Bakasura for the Fire Giant, then that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Deathwalker and Wlfy could create enough of a buffer zone themselves to allow the DPS, especially with a Fafnir Coerce. Draconic form was still available, so if you catch Baka and Chernobog inside the extra attack speed, you're looking at a dead Fire Giant.
You can see that there, the attack speed for iceicebaby. He's got Atlanta's bow and the Hasten Katana too, of course, and then Executioner on top of that, so he's shredding proof protections even without Butcher Blades.
I would like to see him try to go for even more attack speed, potentially even like the Silver Branch bow, trying to convert some of this attack speed into some more physical power, but just wants to get that penetration sooner rather than later.
Wlfy started for a second, but as soon as Ducky and HalfDevil show their face, it will get reset. Still no Fire Giant. It's still too early for it, unless you get a 5-man commit and hope for a team fight there. But RivaL have done pretty well in the engagements, at least trading out. Funballer's going to get plucked in towards Wlfy, but Deathwalker setting up that situation. If you look at the map, though, nobody else was really available for RivaL as those 2 took on the team.
Yeah, but SK Gaming don't have the same intel that we do necessarily, Hindu.
That's
so
true,
forced to use the Aegis was Funballer, avoiding the percussive storm.
Gold Fury reset it, get his bit of sustain, comes up from HalfDevil, sorry. And Ducky just going to use his ultimate there, but couldn't find a target.
Couldn't really connect on the stuns. Wlfy banging the drums. Funballer forced the beats and jump over the wall. Desert Fury. Wlfy very low in the back.
That was a really good Desert Fury from Funballer, actually, and that could turn this fight around a little bit. Callus frontlining like a beast, though, and Ducky's getting very low. Allows Deathwalker to blink in and force out HalfDevil. Ducky's still alive, though, very tanky, but gets bursted by Vote. Faeles going in, knocking up multiple members. RivaL getting super low.
Very low. Lawbster with a double kill. Vote needs to run away from Faeles. Deathwalker, the last remaining RivaL member, plucks away into safety, but needs to retreat against 3 SK members.
Yeah, Deathwalker will fall down here eventually. He's just buying some time more than anything else. This will be a Gold Fury, though, or should be eventually for SK Gaming. I don't know why they're basing when gold's up, unless they're going to rush fire.
They might try to rush for Fire Giant.
It's
a lot of staggered deaths out of RivaL. Ducky and Lawbster is respawning 20 seconds before Deathwalker will.
Problem is, though, Tolly, is that Wlfy and Callus will be there in time. They're not going to get to that Fire Giant and have it low enough before Callus can even get there.
They can't start it, that's for sure. They need to just be in position to ward and maybe catch Wlfy on the rotation.
So why not just do Gold Fury? And send one member to defend it.
Because they want to be here immediately to force Wlfy to overcommit and see what's actually going to happen.
Well, they pulled the Fire Giant for a second. Faeles going to see Wlfy in the distance, though, and they're going to turn their attention to Pyromancer instead. The lesser of the two objectives in my eyes, but it is on the right-hand side of the map, as you said.
Deathwalker still just now reviving, but it's currently Lawbster getting his own red
Chernobog
buff.
coming in deep straight away as Wlfy tries the initiation on towards Faeles, who taunts back in response. Getting very low is Wlfy, though, and the Thunder Crash is going to be good to allow Boat to pick up the kill. Callus jumping to the front line, looking towards HalfDevil, and the chase is on for him.
A huge disconnect with all of SK Gaming, leaving their jungler behind, leaving the support behind. Bombs raining in from the side. Very low is Wlfy, finally taking a spill.
Wlfy falls down as Vote picks up Ducky. Plucked into dangerous Funballer now. And he's trying to hide in the blue buff pit, but it won't be good enough. He falls down. 4 members dead from SK. Yes, they got a Pyromancer, but RivaL now get a Fire Giant.
Deathwalker had the teleport. Wlfy had the ultimate, and those 2 dead members making their rotations just in the nick of time to swing the team fight right on its head. RivaL now are the ones with a Fire Giant, 21 minutes in.
That SK Gaming call there, though, should have been Gold Fury. Originally, too early in the game. They didn't have the respawns were too low to try and consider that. They were also behind at that stage of the game, too. Could have farmed up in it as well and pushed down some towers even. Instead, they chose a Pyromancer and gave RivaL a Fire Giant.
Oh, Deathwalker's definitely going to kill Lawbster here, just waiting on that dash. Lawbster eventually is going to need to turn around. A really good stun, but all it's going to take is one sickening strike.
HalfDevil's going to turn up, but not in time as iceicebaby just blinks in to clean up the kill.
You know Deathwalker's mad at
heated.
Ice after that one. He's like, my solo kill!
I did all the work of chasing
You
through the
did.
jungle, man, and you're stealing away.
The Croc had his Crocs on looking for the dock.
That was a really good one.
I just had to roll that one
I
off.
like that. On top of that, though, we did see the Magi's Cloak get consumed from iceicebaby for a second, so that's going to be on cooldown for another 60 at the moment. RivaL looking dominant again here, Tolly, as this game has continued, but mainly because SK have given them windows.
They definitely have, but it's not as if SK Gaming just opened the windows for them. It was RivaL bursting through them because SK Gaming going for the Pyromancer still had ideas of maybe picking off Wlfy, but the problem was with the ultimate from Vote, with the teleport from Deathwalker, they were able to still get in position and start chasing out SK.
Ducky did a good job of frontlining there, just forcing Wlfy and Deathwalker back, but there's 3 members of RivaL on the left-hand side, so RivaL splitting the difference a little bit here. Look at the right, though. You've got level 16 Funballer and level 16 Erlang Shen just trying to get some experience before the Phoenix Siege begins.
Oh, this Phoenix doesn't have much life left in it. If these minions can enter the tower, Callus is going to coerce literally anyone he wants. There goes the frenzy, and there goes the team fight.
There goes Ducky too. Faeles gets to the back line, but gets an ultimate from Wlfy for his trouble. The Book of the Dead kept him healthy enough, and HalfDevil won't be healthy much longer as iceicebaby gets another double kill this game. The Phoenix on the left-hand side will fall. The tier 2 in mid is surely next on the cards.
Deathwalker trying to enter the middle Phoenix. He's a little low, though. Just going to allow his Hunter. Hey, guys, there's a tier 2 okay, he's clearing the minions. Never mind.
Callus is going to do it.
He's
Sorry,
clearing the
you can
minions.
backdoor it.
No, they cleared the minions. I thought for a second that vote was actually going for the Phoenix there.
iceicebaby, though, still hanging out on this left-hand side, looking to keep the option open to wrap round and stop them getting towards this Phoenix. From SK's point of view, they can't even get to the Phoenix line to defend it, which means 2 down off that wave at 23 minutes in. It's a rough one, this.
It was only Lawbster and Funballer playing defense, so not going to be able to overextend to try to hold on to that one. You'd rather keep your Titan alive, because if you lose those 2 members, and then you have staggered respawns from Ducky, Faeles, and HalfDevil, you might even lose the game too.
Look at all that attack speed that iceicebaby has there, switching up his build too. Got the chins online to go with it now. Oh god, Bakasuras, man. I've never liked Bakasura. You know, he's the first god that I wanted to play when I came to this game.
You're one of those.
When I first played it, I saw the death metal skin and went, that looks cool.
It was pretty cool. But yeah, still looking at SK Gaming's build, I'm still wondering where some of their attack speed items are. No Witchblades, no more Guardian Mails, no horrific emblems upgraded, where last game, I believe it was Callus that went for the upgraded horrific emblem.
You got a point. You got a really good point. Why not some anti-attack speed in some form? Just to slow down the speed of iceicebaby alone, but it'll affect Vote MBK2. And that is a big sign of something that kind of missed the window on.
Just a little bit. There's a lot of little nuances in any MOBA, especially Smite, when you're trying to min-max not only your own build for protections or damage, but how you can use it in the utility form to keep your own teammates alive.
Well, here we go. One Phoenix left. RivaL all grouped up outside of Callus, who's now making the rotation. Fire minions will be pouring in from left and middle, but it'll take a little bit of time for those left-hand ones to make an impact. Soon as anyone from SK shows their face mid, RivaL may commit or be confident enough to commit anyway.
Baiting out some bombs out of Lawbster, only dropping the one, level 19 with red buff, only about 4 items deep, up against 5.5 out of Wlfy. Fire Giant's due to respawn in 40 seconds, but it's Deathwalker forcing the issue.
And he gets the beads out of Funballer there straight away on the Anhur. Still lurking in the waters. iceicebaby goes straight and onto Lawbster. Regurgitate down. Aegis consumed, but chop, chop, chop from iceicebaby. Giving a big old window for RivaL to siege the base. They don't care about the Phoenix. They want the kill.
And they do get one onto Faeles. Wlfy running away, has the shell. Ducky in no man's land. He's going to ultimately go down, but not until Vote gets taken out. A good double kill for Funballer.
Yeah, and that's actually turned it around now because RivaL have got to turn tail and run. Funballer gets a big old, well, hammer I'd say, but it was an acid spit from a dragon to the face. And the tanks are trying to get away, but the bombs rain down, and oh no, he does die in the end. HalfDevil gets the kill.
iceicebaby was thinking about jumping back in. Look how many fire minions are going to flood into that Titan room. It's all up to HalfDevil to try to clear this wave. That Titan is going to go to less than half health.
I don't think HalfDevil can stop this.
No.
They need Funballer and Agni back quick, but iceicebaby's on the way, and he's going to sustain back up and chop down some minions.
Is this game?
It could be game by
No,
minions.
not like this. Come on.
No.
Deathwalker's going to go in with the ultimate. No, the call is to retreat. Just allow the Titan to get chipped away and go for round 2 once you get full 5 supporting cast members.
For 1 second there, I was like, wow, they're really going to let the minions do all the work for them. Deathwalker actually healed the Titan a little bit there by aggroing it, too, which is quite interesting.
Man,
That'd have been
I would have lost it. I would have lost it worse than ALG losing their Titan that one time.
Yeah, that last time. Well, Left-Hand Phoenix will respawn soon for SK Gaming. Right one does still stand. That whole fight we just saw, Tolly, was technically for nothing from RivaL's point of view, but for SK, it was another lifeline.
I mean, if you think about it, RivaL are like just a sneeze away from winning this game. Accidentally walking into this room will win it for RivaL. Y'all mind if I show up and...
Do you be cheeky and send like Deathwalker in to try and solo it or something while you fight the fire
No
giant?
point.
No?
Get the fire giant. Go run it down any lane you want.
Well, there is one point to mention. This middle Phoenix is about to come up 2 now, and once they both respawn, the Titan will start to regenerate.
And that's why Deathwalker's plucking. Wlfy is using the Thunder Crash, trying to get closer and closer. They don't want the Titan to get too healthy for this final siege.
Yeah, it just makes it a little bit easier for them to get in and break the base. But the target focus is a little bit all over the place from RivaL. They found some kills for themselves. Wlfy's been a little bit too eager for the damage, and it's cost him a couple of lives this game. But Callus is going to lead in the troops. Great bombs from Lawbster. This is terrible from RivaL. Over Lawbster. But SK are really trying to turn this around. Bad news bears, though. iceicebaby got to the back line and took out Lawbster. Next, he can look at Faeles. Deathwalker gets a double. Iceice cleaning house. It started so well.
They lost 2 damage members, but they kept their 3rd one alive. iceicebaby going for it. Gets a triple kill. Deicide and RivaL cleaning it up 2-0.
2-0 on paper, but if you watch that set back, you got to give some credit to SK for moments in that game. There was times in game 2 where they actually won some good team fights. Odd decisions after the fact. In game 1, same can be said.
iceicebaby doesn't matter if he's playing the Haba or the Bakasura. He's looking for any little opening to exploit. Invading the blue buff on the right side, switching it up to the purple on the left. Multiple red buff invades allowed RivaL some momentum.
The red buff invades were definitely a critical point there, but who do you guys at home think deserves MVP for that game?
Probably iceicebaby.
I mean, that's why I'm just like,
It's
who do you
gotta be
think?
iceicebaby
I don't
again.
know who you would choose in that scenario.
Honestly, I think everyone played relatively well in terms of team fights, but it's got to be iceicebaby. Deathwalker had some good plugs here and there. I think he got overzealous in the mid game when he was trying to show off a little bit around the tier 2 tower, the solo side, switching things up, which gave SK some windows of opportunity. But SK as a whole needs to clean it up objectively. Like when you mentioned when they didn't go for the Gold Fury, thinking about going for the Fire Giant, they wanted to try to bait Wlfy, and this might game plan.
And in fairness, we always try to give SK as much credit as we can, but at the same time, we do get a bird's eye view of things. But those guys themselves have been around a long time. Some awkward decisions. What do you guys in the desk think about that, sir?
I think SK has got some work cut out for them. Unfortunately, SK falls down. RivaL does the cutting here and cuts them down 2-0 in the 3-game set.
Man, and again, SK has flashes of they can get this done. They can do this. But man, a really, really rough game for Faeles in particular. He was down basically all game. That's what Baka does to you, of course, but to that degree is tough, and it really shows in just the stats alone. 8,000 player damage. That is not just a little bit below HalfDevil and Kalas, the supports on each team, but a large margin.
It like upsets me as a viewer and a fan, to be honest with you. Like I like watching SK, but there are just too many holes, and the holes were found by, I mean, you guys know who it is, iceicebaby, iceicebaby, the MVP, coming through and doing this.
This is just what Baka does. In the midst of chaos, will absolutely decimate your team, and Ice has become so good at this sort of style. It was this that kind of brought him on the scene, the same sort of adapting play style of getting into the back line and really, in the midst of havoc, being able to find the perfect target at the perfect time with the relics or escape down or whatever.
The true assassin.
Exactly. And look, every jungler has flashes of this, but it was really adapting and Ice towards the beginning of career that really impressed with that sort of style. Ice got away from it for a little bit to play the more utility stuff, which he can still do. That's why we see Odin banned every damn game against RivaL. But when he gets his opportunities to play like this, he makes the most of it.
15 kills with only a handful of deaths. Really impressive stuff coming out from iceicebaby. And I mean, that's sometimes it's just that simple. There were some moments where SK Gaming kind of got into it and had a couple of moments, but at the end of the day, not even the short or quick and dirty, the full explanation is iceicebaby won, Faeles didn't. And so their teams followed suit.
The team fights for SK were pretty solid at times. They've got a good team composition to bring a lot of CC, interrupt you, all that kind of stuff. They had a big deicide by the Gold Fury. And then it just takes one fight where Bakasura gets to roam free and do that much work for RivaL. And then every fight after that seemed to follow suit. It's Baka in the back line, killing Lawbster immediately, and then moving on to everybody else.
There's no chance to survive there for SK Gaming, a team that, as I said, has had their stumbles, but looked to steadily improve now as the year comes to a close. If they don't make HRX, I think it's time to start looking at the drawing board.
I think you should be on your second drawing board by now if you're SK. It's been long enough for Season 5. This roster clearly isn't working out.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is, and I think that it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, but when SK is going to make changes.
Coming up next, Energy taking on Mouse Sports. You're not going to want to miss this. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the Smite Pro League.